Hi, I'm Miss Pensinger, and this video is going to teach you how to organize your Gmail account a little bit better. So I am logged in as a student to show you what your account probably looks like. And the first thing I need to do is go to the Gmail section of the account. So here we are in Gmail on a web browser, and I'm using a web browser because we all have that. We all can do that on a lab computer. You may use features of an app to organize your mail, and that's fine, but I want to show you on this because we can all do it this way. So I'm looking at a few messages, and this is a student who hasn't received any email from CCS yet, but they've received email from me because I'm going to use these as some samples. So you notice over here you have a few categories. Inbox, start, he doesn't have any of those, he hasn't sent anything, doesn't have any drafts, and we click more. You can see some other features here, but not super well organized. And what's going to happen to this poor child as more and more messages come in, it's going to be very difficult for him to keep track of them and to find them. So what he would need to do is set up some additional categories over here that'll function as folders that he can store emails in that he needs to save. Some emails that come in, you just need to delete them. You've read them, you've dealt with them, they're finished, you can delete them. And to do that, you simply click on that checkbox beside the email and choose the trash can. However, some messages you don't want to delete. You want to find somewhere to put them. And the way that we're going to do that is to use labels. So I'm going to come over here to my settings feature. I'm going to go to settings. And I've got all kinds of settings in here, and you really shouldn't mess with these unless you know what you're doing. I'm going to go to labels because I know what I'm doing. And I can take a look at the labels that I have. And these are the ones that Gmail gives you and categories that Gmail gives you. I'm going to create new labels. So my first new label for your CCS account, you really should have a label that is either teachers or classes. And so I'm going to use classes. And I'm going to create a new label that is school life. Create that. I'm going to create a new label that is friends. A new label that is sports. If you play a sports team, any other extracurriculars you're in, you'll want to create a label for that. So I think that's good. So I've got some labels created, and you notice they popped up over here. So I'm done with my settings. I can go back to the inbox. And I'm going to take a look at these categories, or these messages, sorry, and I'm going to identify where I want them to go. So this is a question for a friend. I'm going to stick that in the friend category. A lot of times, all the time, you're supposed to use this email account for school, but you do have friends at school, and they may use your email account, and maybe they're not a friend, maybe they're a classmate or a teammate, you don't quite call them a friend, but you want to have a place to put messages from other students. So that's what I would use this as. So I've selected it. I'm going to come up here and click on Move To, and I'm going to slide it over to the Friends label, and you see it has appeared in here because I haven't read it. It's still bold, and I can go read it. Typically, you want to read the email first. That's a good plan. Here's a message about soccer. I've read it. I need to save it. I'm going to go to the folder and stick it in sports. Here's a message about homecoming. Homecoming is an example of something that happens in the life of school. It doesn't have to do with any of my classes. It's not a sport, but it's still something I need to know. So I'm going to stick that in my school life folder. And a message about science class, I'm going to stick in my classes folder. All those emails, I still have them. They all live in their folder, happy as can be, and yet they're out of my inbox and out of my way. You may also want to have a folder called Family, If your family uses your school email address, that might be helpful. You really want to keep the number of folders that you have rather limited. I wouldn't make a folder for each class. It's just going to get more and more complicated as you figure out where to put your stuff. So it's plenty fine to have classes over there. If you find that there's a class that you have a lot of emails for, you can go back into your, let's say this email is for science class, and I get an email all the time for science class, and I want a label for science class. So I'm going to go create new label, and I'm going to call it science, and I'm going to nest that label under classes. Okay, so under this classes tab, I have my science. So I could do that for my classes if I get a lot of emails for them. Some of your classes you're not going to get a lot of emails for that you need to save, so you might not want to make folders for all of them. So ask questions if you need help, but I strongly recommend that each day or almost every day you take a minute and clear out your inbox, stick stuff in folders, or delete it to keep your inbox clear so you can see the emails as they come in that you need to see. That's all I've got for you today. Have a great day.